Anytime I researched what are the top 10 greatest series of all time, I kept coming across one series, and it was called Deadwood. And for those of you who don't know, Deadwood was canceled. It only ran for 3 seasons, and after watching all 3 seasons, including the movie, I can tell you I understand why it was canceled. Look, before you click off this video, just let me explain. Deadwood is a series about this sheriff named Sheriff Bullock. He moves all the way to South Dakota to a town named Deadwood. Now, in Deadwood, he meets a character named Al Swearingen. And this character, played by McShane, he's one of the greatest characters I've ever seen in a television show, without a doubt. Now, with that being said, Swearingen, he's the real antagonist. He's a very bad man, extremely bad man. When people describe it, they usually say that it's about Al Swearingen and the sheriff clashing, and an even worse person moves into the camp. I would disagree with that. Al Swearingen is the worst character in here morally, and all of these characters, they clash. Now, this series was very good starting off. The script was very good. The dialogue, it goes over my head. It gets very lyrical. It sounds somewhat Shakespearean, which it gets very confusing when you have a complex, sort of convoluted plot sometimes. There were times when I was watching this series and I had to pause it and take a break. I had to go and get something to eat. I had to stretch because watching it felt like walking through a swamp. It felt like walking through a swamp and trying to get away from alligators. It was so exhausting. It was exhausting because there are characters that are given screen time that do not deserve screen time. They don't really contribute to the conflict. I kept asking myself, why am I watching this person? Why do I need to watch this person ride on a horse and talk about apples or take a bath? They do things that really slow down the plot. With that being said, when this series is good, it's very good. When it wants to be tense, it's very tense. There are some extremely good moments throughout this series, but overall as a default, it is boring. It's boring, extremely well made, but boring. After I watched the 3 seasons, I went to research, or rather, I went on HBO Max and I looked up the movie, and I found the series so boring that I said to myself, please don't let me find the movie. And then it popped up. Now, let me tell you this. I'm so glad that I watched this movie. It was so good. Everything that the series could have done better, they did in this movie. They cut out all of those redundant scenes. They cut off on all the characters that didn't really add anything to the story. And every single character in here added to the conflict. They added to the conflict, or they played a part. And I loved it so much. Ian McShane is phenomenal in his role. I love the movie. I am so happy that I watched it. With that being said, Deadwood is not a top 5 series, a top 10 series. I understand why it was canceled. It is a very boring series, extremely well made, extremely well acted, but I would not recommend to anyone to watch it unless you are very good, if you love westerns or if you enjoy slower work of arts. Thank you for tuning in.